Okay, class, this is the last part for section 4.3. This is problem number 4b. It does look like a very difficult problem, but in actuality, it's very easy. So let me go ahead and zoom in a little bit. And let's go ahead and take a look at that. So if you take a look at this, essentially what we have here is three polynomials. Here they want you to add it, and then they want you to subtract it. So your best bet here is to go ahead and start off with the first ones, the first two polynomials. So we're going to go ahead and bring down the first parentheses right there. And do the same thing for the second polynomial. And essentially we're going to do something similar to what we did in our previous one. Now notice that on this one we have several variables involved. Before we only had one variable involved. So we're going to go ahead and take off the parentheses there. And while we're at it, let's go ahead and distribute the negative sign here, so we don't travel with this. So this will now become negative 5x squared. Same thing with this one. This will now become negative xy squared. And finally, we're going to go ahead and distribute to the last one, which becomes negative y to the third. So let's go ahead and get started. Since we're dealing with mixed variables here, we're going to go ahead and take a look at the very first one. And here the particular order really doesn't matter as long as you have all the items there. So get yourself a highlighter or underliner with a pen. In this case, we're going to take a look. We're going to go ahead and collect the ones that have the x to the third. And this one's y to the third, so that one doesn't apply. So you have another x to the third right there. And we notice that there's no other x to the third. Remember, we're only dealing with the coefficient part there. So 7 plus 2 will be 9, and the x to the third stays. Now we're going to go ahead and take a look at the next one. The next one, we have the term where you have the x squared and y. And remember, it has to be exactly alike. So it can't be on this one because the x is to the first power and y is squared. So you cannot collect that one. So you move on, and here we have another match, x squared y. And over here we have another match, which is also x squared y. So for this particular one, we're going to have three of them. So first, we're going to go ahead and take a look at these two. So 4 plus 5, that'll give you 9. And then we're going to go ahead and subtract minus 5. So 9 minus 5 will give you positive 4. So here we're going to end up with positive 4 x squared y. So scratch those off. Make sure that you do that, so you know what you already used up. So once again, those are mixed variables that you have there. So we move on to the next one. The next one, remember, it has to have x and y squared. So to match it up, we already have another one here, x and y squared. And we have another one right there, x and y squared. So once again, get the numbers. Don't worry about the variables or the variables right now. They're going to stay the same. So 7. So we're going to take a look here at 7 plus 8. That gives you 15. And then minus 2, that gives you positive 13. So this will be positive 13 x y squared. So once again, it'll be 7 plus 8, that gives you 15, and then minus 2, which will give you positive 13 xy squared. And finally, we have the y to the third. So we match it up with another one, which is also y to the third over here at the end. Since it doesn't have a coefficient, we could go ahead and put a 1 there. So this will be negative 3 minus 1, which will be negative 4y to the third. Alright, so once again, it's not difficult. You're just going to have to be a little bit more patient on this. Make sure that you match up first the variables. Make sure that they're the same exponents. And then from there, all you have to do is just add the coefficients. Add or subtract the coefficients. And this will be your final answer for this one right here. So this concludes part 3.